Hey there, Icarus here. Usually I find Doom mods relatively easy to talk about. They've got these base constituent elements that I can isolate and yammer on about, be it the theming, the gameplay, the weaponry, the level design. I usually take them in some kind of order, tell you what stood out to me, if there was any personal bugbears I had, and at the end, give you some kind of recommendation. Job done, on to the next. For you broke me, however, my usual method completely failed me. This is for a number of reasons, chief amongst which is the fact that this mod can't really be pinned down into any conventional form. Because in its very essence, it's somewhat of a shapeshifter, existing in multiple states at once, an individual creation that also contains multitudes. If I had to knuckle down and give you an easy-to-digest logline for You Broke Me, it would be that this mod is a psychological odyssey combined with technical showcase that plumbs the depths of the emotional spectrum from rock-bottom lows
Hello, Johnny. How are you today?
to self-actualizing highs. In short, the kind of mod that will leave you feeling like that meme of a horse on the beach staring out into the distance. Just, man. If this at all sounds like something you'd be interested to experience for yourself, I'd urge you to pause the video here, download the mod, and run through it for yourself. Feel free to come back when you're done, because I'd hate to spoil some of its twists and turns before you've had a chance. So, where to begin? I guess first impressions are important. You Broke Me is pretty unassuming in that regard, familiar even. The level you play through first bears the hallmarks of the kind of map I feel like I would have made back when I was getting to grips with mapping. The kind of map where the feedback would be something akin to, good job, nothing too crazy, solid even. So you play it, you grab all the keys, you finish the level, and it takes you right to the monster carousel end screen of Doom 2. You start asking, did I screw something up? Did I load the mod up wrong somehow? I hit the escape key to bring up the menu, and things are certainly a little bit off. The load game option instead returns a cryptic message by way of response, the Doom 2 logo displays some form of corruption, and the new game option now presents itself as a question. All you can do is answer. The same level begins again, only now its dimensions are notably squashed. The music has changed, and as you make your way through, you may even notice that the progression isn't quite the same as before. Either way, you muddle on through, shoot the demons, grab the keys, head to the exit, and yep, it's getting weirder. That readme text starts to display lines pleading for someone to stop, and instead of new game, the top option now posits the question, try again? The third iteration here is where the map truly starts to come undone. In fact, this particular of the map had a lift so degraded at its opening that I actually needed to no-clip through it in order to reach the rest of the level. Now, I'm not sure this will be the same situation each time, but in a prior playthrough, the lift was a little glitchy but still usable, so there seems to be an interesting degree of variance from successive playthroughs. This version is not only much more stretched out than the original version of this map, but it's also off-grid, skewed to such a degree that it puts certain textures at an angle that I can only personally regard as severely distressing.
I don't like it! I don't like to think about it!
The map also appears to be flipped, certain sections swapping sides from where they were before, and did that sprite just turn into a regular guy when it died? The repetition here is almost like a map trying to remember itself, slipping further and further away until you hit that exit switch one more time. It's at this point that the gloves well and truly come off for this mod. The menu screen openly announces that we're just getting started, and no matter what option you pick, it actively prohibits you from moving forward. In fact, you're left with no option but to cycle back through that monster carousel until you land back on our hero. Rather than looping again, the monster carousel ends here. You might even take a few more frustrated presses of the use key to realize that the icon of sin is slowly fading to black in the background, and really, all you can do is replay that death animation, sinking further and further as text on screen depicts a descent into mental anguish, and eventually even the sounds of the sprite fade into nothing. Progress halts. But the menu finally returns an option. Normalize? At this point, you might not want to know what normal is. Truth be told, this mod probably isn't the kind of mod you think it's gonna be. Even though I've already laid out the themes of it pretty early on, it's easy to assume that we might be in horror territory. Now don't get me wrong, horror is certainly a part of it, but it's a lot more nuanced and personal than that. It's also very unafraid of the abrupt right-hand turn, because now we're back. Things seem improved somewhat. The level certainly seems to have had a lick of paint here and there. There's certainly more elaborate things at play during progression, and Doom Guy seems to be having a pretty good time down there. You might even find yourself getting back into the groove, feeling like it's business as usual, but as soon as it's here that you begin to realize that these two elements of reality are intertwined. One is assuredly affecting the other. And for me personally, I regard the more overt Doom level sections of this mod as the escape from the burdens of reality, but what happens when reality keeps piling things on? In this case, the arrival of a new roommate at the house results in the appearance of a new enemy in the game. An enemy that ceaselessly proclaims that you need it, and leaves trash all everywhere. You're forever picking it up, and it fills up the HUD, and the words begin to spill, the HUD begins to splinter, and at points it genuinely becomes difficult to focus through the chaos unfolding on screen. But even then, a part of me experiencing this is just consumed by the sheer gee whiz factor of what I'm witnessing. It's telling that there's brief respite from these green enemies after a short period, but when reality intrudes once more, wouldn't you know it, here they are all over again. It's almost like it's a metaphor for a relationship getting needy and overbearing and distracting and oh god, oh Jesus, where is the X? I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild psychological horror ride.
This is not my beautiful house.
Mr. Booze, Mr. Booze, Mr. B-double-O-Z, he don't ever choose.
So this is one of the sections that certainly sticks in my mind as one of the more impressive, aside from the HUD breaking apart and bouncing all over the screen. This one dynamically shifts throughout the course of the level between multiple disparate texture sets, also changes the music alongside it, presenting multitudes of moods and vibes as you progress through. You'll also notice that we are picking up copious amounts of, well, it's supposed to be alcohol, but for me, because my brain works the way it does, all it reads is as piss. But that doesn't detract from the worry, as anyone who's had their encounters with alcohol will tell you. Too much of it is very much a bad thing. I mean, that should be obvious. But when you're playing a mod such as this that's charting the psychological depths, you can't help but dread what comes next. Ah, jeez, I think I lost track of time again. Unstable? Actually, yeah, that kind of tracks. starting to think there was maybe more than just alcohol in those jars. In all seriousness, though, I personally admire any piece of work, art, film, mod, or otherwise, that has the stones to let you sit with uncomfortable emotions, to have the confidence to let you feel bad. And yeah, I freely admit, that's probably not what a lot of you are here for. Vast majority of you are probably here for haha, funny, crazy fun times. In all honesty, so am I. I could tell you there's a lot of projects that I've kind of turned away from because I don't really feel like confronting the way that they're gonna make me feel. But, you know, that's just brushing reality under the rug, because the truth is, some of us go through some serious shit, and we all have our various ways of processing it, and the raw, naked truth of You Broke Me is that this is basically therapy. Remember the rock bottom lows I talked about right at the start of the video? Well, we're pretty much there. Truthfully, this is a difficult section of mod to experience. It's raw, it's oppressive, and you can't make progress in a lot of cases here unless you do actually pick up some of that booze. And you know exactly what it's going to do to you, but I guess that's the nature of substance abuse and addiction. Not to speak for those who have gone through it themselves, I mercifully have managed to avoid that in my life so far, but yeah, I view this kind of stuff with a great deal of empathy. It's tough, but as I alluded to earlier, this is not a mod that is seeking to sugarcoat anything. If anything, as you get deeper into this mod, it becomes increasingly clear that it's not one single event that is causing this downward spiral. It's a succession of increasing pressure, of heavier and heavier emotional loads of stress piled upon stress. And what do you think happens when you put too much load on something? Well, the clue is very much in the title.
Hello, Johnny. How are you today?
All of this ultimately leads to the bottom of the spiral and a moment in this mod that completely made my jaw drop. I mean, first of all, this section is just nightmarish to a T. The entire world is a hue of red. You're crawling on the floor, and some strange talking head is constantly asking you, how do you feel today? And don't think I didn't notice that this is straight from Twin Peaks. Again, nightmare fuel. Very much so. Would recommend. Now, I'm not sure I can really get to the root of this particular section without YouTube trying to throw its hands up and say that you're not allowed to reckon with mature material such as this, but let me phrase it this way, it's not typically the intended use of a home self-defense weapon. Oh, guess what? This is intentional. No shit. This mod engineers an intentional crash at the peak of that previous section, and then allows you to load it back up and continue. I'm not sure if I can convey how amazingly inventive that is. I have literally never seen any other mod do that. It just boggles my mind that while this mod is busy delivering gut punch after gut punch after gut punch, it's also busy delivering these real inventive implementations of what's even possible with a modern Doom source port such as Uzi Doom here. I've never seen it used this way. It is genuinely impressive as all heck to me. I am just constantly in awe of what it does. But yeah, it's exactly this kind of stuff that made me say you should probably go off and experience this mod for yourself first. If anything, it feels like I'm doing this mod a disservice by presenting it to you in this particular format. Feel like I'm pre-chewing it for you for easier digestion when the whole point of it is you sit with it. You take it at its own pace. And I think I'm feeling this way because when you get to this very tail end part of You Broke Me, the whole thing about it, it's about emotional catharsis and breakthrough. And that That shit is earned.
Piss.
Truthfully, this section is kind of beautiful in many, many ways. Not just because of the way it looks, but also the way it feels. Just the presentation of it is serene, zen-like. There's a comfort to it that certainly wasn't present throughout the more dominating sections of this mod, which make up, I guess, like 90% of it. And you'd think that the quantity of that preceding part would overwhelm, unbalance it, but the glimmer of just hope at the end of this was something that I needed. I don't think I was personally prepared for a mod such as this to just end at its lowest note. I don't think I would have been prepared for that. I think it would have made me depressed for months to experience that. And if anything, I'm impressed with the idea that they didn't go the obvious route when it comes to confronting the abstract notion of your inner demon. Here, it's a conversation, not a gunfight. And I know, to some people, that might be somewhat of a disappointing resolution, but hey, don't touch that dial. It's not over yet. After denying the worst part of your character's self, you head back to the place that used to hold so much pain. These washing machines are going crazy! What setting have I got them on? They're shaking the entire house apart! No! Oh, fuck! You know, it's nice to have the finality of an end screen, especially after all the tricks that this particular mod has pulled. You're never quite sure whether it's got a little bit of... Oh, god damn it!
It's time to stop.
You still going? Fine. Hit me with your best shot. Yeah, I know I said it was refreshing that a mod dealt with the physical manifestation of your inner demon as something that you can talk it out with and deny, but it's also nice to have a psychedelic freak-out rainbow arena where you get to slaughter hordes of the things, and in all honesty, is it really so bad if we're able to have both? I mean, good luck passing whatever the hell is happening on screen here, even through YouTube compression. Trust me when I say it's still just as eye-watering to behold, even before that happens. But all things said, it's been a journey. It really, really has. And it genuinely pleases me no end that in current year 2026, Doom modding persists as a wonderful platform with which people can use to express themselves. My compliments to the author. I genuinely hope it helped you work a lot of stuff out. And if anything, the sheer technical wizardry that has been on show throughout the course of You Broke Me makes me very, very excited for the future of what may come next. If you want to give this one a whirl for yourself, the link, as usual, is in the description below. And if you fancy helping out the channel, the least you can do is leave me a like, a subscribe, hit the hype button, you know, whatever stuff they want you to do these days. Anything you can do is a help to me. But until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.